Welcome to the Good Business Dufferin podcast, hosted by the Dufferin Board of Trade through our social enterprise, the Dufferin Biz Hub. Our podcast is based on our belief that small businesses have the power to drive positive change in our community. Our conversations with local experts will help your business thrive, and our talks with community leaders will inspire you to make a difference in Dufferin County. Whether you're looking to grow your business, strengthen our community, or hopefully both, we've got you covered.
Welcome to the Good Business Dufferin podcast, where we bring you insightful stories and inspiring conversations with change makers in our community. Today, we're diving into a conversation about an essential service that supports individuals and families during some of life's most challenging moments, hospice care. Joining us are two incredible guests from Bethell Hospice. We have Nicole Hand, Executive Director of the Bethell Hospice Foundation, who plays a vital role in fundraising and community engagement. We're also joined by Margaret Paan, Executive Director of the Bethell Hospice, and a dedicated nurse with years of experience providing compassionate care for those in need. Bethell Hospice has been operating for 15 years, providing unwavering support to patients and their families. Today, we'll be exploring their history, the purpose of the foundation, ways businesses can get involved, and the excited initiatives they have coming up. So let's get started. Thank you both so very much for joining us today. To start, we can start with Nicole if you want, and just let us know a little bit about your background and what led you to be part of Bethell Hospice.
Sure. So my career has really been in development and fundraising in the charitable sector, and I have been in the healthcare sector for probably the longest, and I was in a traditional hospital environment for a long time. Fortunately, there was an opening that came up at Bethell Hospice, and it really gave me the opportunity to learn more about that. And as soon as I heard more and learned more, I realized what an easy mission it was to get behind, and so I kind of dove in with both feet and got to know my partner here, and it's history, I guess.
That's awesome. Margaret, what about you? How did you get involved?
So I have been in healthcare for probably more, now we're into decades than I would like to say, but with that comes experience, so I'll take it. So as you mentioned before, I am a nurse. That's my background. I haven't been doing hands-on nursing for quite some time, but certainly been doing work in the healthcare system, home care, hospital, a little bit in government work for many decades, and have been starting to do some work in palliative care, more at the system level. And I was... again, had worked with organizations like Bethell, and when an opportunity arose, this is about 2019, I kind of jumped at it. And I had always loved working with Bethell as a partner organization or as somebody who, understood their mission and understand their work. And when this executive director position opened up, I was really grateful to be successful. And so I've been with Bethell since 2019. So, yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. They're lucky to have both of you on the team. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So thank you for your background. Can you tell us a little bit about Bethell's background? It's your 15-year anniversary. That's amazing. Congratulations, 15 years in operation. And how did Bethell Hospice come to be?
Sure, you start. Yeah, I'll jump in when I can.
Bethell Hospice, 15 years, really exciting. I always like to say, too, that, community hospice work was happening in our area under a different name. That was Hospice Caledon, I believe. And really, I think this grew out of that community. And I think when I think about sort of the roots and the origin, it really is all about community. And when, our namesake and founder, Lorna Bethell, wanted to make sure that people in the community could have care close to home, unique, specialized care, where families could go back to being families and not caregivers 24/7. That's really the origin story. So I think we can't say the word community enough, because I think that's exactly what it is. We are there for the community. We are supported by the community. We were founded by the community, and we're really grateful. We have a unique sort of partnership with community and with government support. So it's a real interesting partnership. It's one that's unique actually in healthcare.
Yeah. That's awesome. And then Nicole, what about the foundation? How did it get started?
So the foundation that was sort of formed in order to support the rising of the building and creating the facility itself. And so Bethell Hospice Foundation came to be in order to ensure that the facility had the resources it needed, first to open its doors, and then second to maintain the needs of the facility, but also to ensure that but programs and services for our community programs, because we are not just a facility, we aren't just a building where residents are cared for, but there's so much work that goes on in the community that also needs support and to be funded. And so the numbers and the ratios have changed over the years, how much the government gives versus what we are able to give, but we're in a situation now where we're looking to raise over 1.8 million from the community specifically to ensure that the doors of Bethell Hospice remain open and that all of our programs and services are free to anyone who needs them.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I've had the privilege of going into the hospice there. It's beautiful, beautiful facility. It's wonderful to see, and the work you do is amazing. I didn't realize you did a bunch of services outside of that building, though. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I can share a little bit. So in fact, when you come down to a numbers perspective, our community program has a bigger impact than our house. I shouldn't say that from a numbers perspective,
Right.
not from the impact from a family perspective. So we are servicing probably close to 600 people a year through our community program. Our house, this is direct care.
Yeah.
Our house is around 150, give or take, annually. That's from an individual. What we often will say, though, is one individual that receives care through either the house or through the community, there's a ripple effect. So the number hospice uses sometimes is actually 9. It's like a 9 to 1. So for every one person we give direct care for, whether it's in the house or the community, 9 other individuals will have a positive impact for that. So that we're talking now thousands and thousands of people. So the community program, people often go, okay, well, like, tell me what that looks like. What is that? So an example will be we have professional, skilled healthcare providers like social workers, grief and bereavement counselors. We will do direct one-to-one therapeutic sessions or care. We'll also do group. We do things like art therapy as well. We have visiting volunteer. So a number of things. So you certainly our hospice residents, the building you referred to, beautiful. It's not just a building, it's a home, right? It's a pretty magical place. But we also like to bring that magic outside of our bricks and mortar. And so we like to think that, Bethell is certainly more than just that one building in Caledon. And I think as well, just so people know, especially because this is the Dufferin Board of Trade, we have recently integrated with Hospice Dufferin. And so now under Bethell Hospice name, we're actually providing that community care that Hospice Dufferin was doing actually through Bethell Hospice now. So now we're in the Dufferin community as well.
That's wonderful. So we're not left behind. We're certainly well cared for still.
Yeah. And it really was. Kudos to Margaret and the team. It really was a seamless transition for the clients that were in Dufferin. And it's been great because we've obtained a bit of a new space. So we have some more real estate.
We're in the Eva Brock Center.
Which is really great because we can show up in more places. And from a fundraising perspective, of course, it now allows me and the team to work more with businesses and partners here in Dufferin to assist in providing the services that we are in need of support of. Yeah,
that's great. So when you work with the local businesses, what kind of projects do you help them get involved in? How do you work with Dufferin County businesses?
There are. I'd like to say that there's no ceiling on what we can do or what we can't do. I'm up for anything, and my team is all about great ideas. Traditionally, of course, we are always looking at sponsorship and things for our signature events. So upcoming very soon will be our 15th annual hike for Bethell Hospice, hike for BethellHospice.ca. And those the businesses are a step forward to support not only by providing funds for sponsorship to allow us to run the event, but also come out as teams. It provides a great sort of bonding time for teams and for staff to get together to support a cause in the community. So that's the traditional way the businesses support. Businesses also like to step up and do their own activities for us. You may have heard Bon Appetit for Bethell was an opportunity where we engaged restaurants, local business, and they would either create a dish or they would have a certain percentage that would come back to support Bethell. So that it not only engaged the business but their customers. Right. And so any opportunity or any ideas that a business may have where they'd like to get involved but they're not quite sure, they are welcome to reach out and say, I had a thought, what do you think of this? And we would be more than happy to entertain any ideas. It's really, of course, we appreciate the funding, and the funding is necessary. I think, though, even more so now that we are sort of new I mean, I won't say new. We've been here a long time, supporting and in the background. But now that we're physically here, I think that we need to educate, and we need to make our community aware that these not only are the services available, that businesses can come and join us, and we'll happily promote what they're doing, and we like to work back and forth.
That's perfect. Yeah, and I can really understand how awareness building is one of the key things. How do you get the message out there? What do you want people to hear when they're hearing your message about what you're doing in the community?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think from the perspective of that awareness piece, it's complicated, because we often say, like, how are we not as known given the impact, given this specialized, unique program and services we offer? But really, we find that people don't often understand our services and feel it until they've experienced it. Then they become champions, ambassadors, they become volunteers, they become donors.
Board members even.
Yeah, board members, and staff, and just all these wonderful opportunities for people to engage with us. And then they kind of stick with. Bethel's kind of, when people get involved, they stay involved. And it's a really wonderful thing, because it lets us build longevity, and we've got great retention. How do we build awareness? Because we don't want people to only have to experience us at that time. We know we have that real interesting services we provide, where sometimes people say, like, no offense, but I don't really want your services for a while. And we say, that's okay. We understand that. We know that people think of us as end of life, which we certainly are. Our hospice residence is for end of life for residents, but that community, that thinking broader, that wanting people to think of us not only at end of life, that community, that awareness, that's where that connection to me comes in. And Nicole and I both live in Dufferin, so we personally have some skin in the game, so to speak, with wanting to make sure that this community as well understands what we can offer and how we build on the legacy of Hospice Dufferin. And I think that awareness, getting out, different opportunities, like Nicole said, her and her team are up for sort of engaging and maybe partners we haven't normally engaged in. Nicole and her team have done really great stuff with schools. Like, we don't want people to only think of us as end of life and, that sort of piece, because we're broader than that. And yes, we'd never want to lose that. But we like to say our tagline is here when you need us, and that isn't only at end of life. That's often with other complications and things that come with life-threatening, life-limiting diagnoses, supporting people who are grieving a loss. So I think anybody in Dufferin has not escaped that reality of either being mortal or having lost someone that they love dearly. We support both those. So really, I think we can be here for everybody in the community. It's a matter of sort of, like you said, taking those opportunities to make sure people understand who we are, come alongside, and we come alongside where people are at. And that's going to maybe require a bit of a rethink too, so we can keep growing our awareness.
I was really fortunate to have a really great conversation around the dining room table at Bethel the other day, and it was with a lovely young woman from Orangeville. And she actually said to me, which is, the ultimate question for someone in fund development. So how does this place how do they stay? How does it work?
How does it work?
And I'm like, yay, thank you for sharing, asking. But it was so much beyond, again, the whole idea of how the funding works and the fundraising. And we spoke a lot about the whole idea of paying it forward. And that is really a strong tradition within Bethell Hospice Foundation, the idea of memorial giving, and families who have been in the space, or clients who have been in the space who have experienced the care and the help and the support, saying, and I'm going to make my gift now for the next family, because I wouldn't have got the help I needed without the family before me. And I think that in all the areas I've worked within healthcare, this has been the strongest area of growth and potential of support, because it really is all about paying it forward. And it's been a wonderful experience to share that with families.
The families that you serve, do they need a physician referral, or how do they become part of your network?
Yeah, so the short answer is no. Depending on what service people get engaged in, if they end up coming into the hospice, at some point we will need to connect with their physician. If they don't have one, though, we have a team of physicians that provide palliative care that we can connect them with. But people can self-refer. So our website has forms people can fill out right online. We have emails, phone numbers, things. We try and make it as the lowest barrier as possible to get to us. And so, that's constantly an evolving thing too, because not everyone, we try and keep many ways to get connected to us. So people can do a self-referral. They can reach out, our team can talk to them through to find out, are the services, are they a fit right now? Maybe it's later, maybe it's this one. It's something people don't often even know what they need, because these sorts of things we go through and we support aren't things people get, thankfully, very skilled at. These are sometimes the first time, the one time. So it's really important that when people do reach out to us, we are a place that supports them and doesn't say, I don't want people saying, no, it's about, well, how about this? Or maybe, let's circle back in a month. Or so a friend can reach out and ask some questions. We encourage people to go to our website and take a look. And again, all else fails, you can pick up the phone or send an email and we'll make sure someone connects with you.
Oh, that's perfect. Yeah. So you're not turning people away. If a family's grieving for any reason, for some loss, they can certainly reach out, or a neighbor can reach out on their behalf and make some inquiries.
Absolutely. I think that's where we form some of our best relationships too, is that there are those who are in the community are concerned about their loved one. I've had, again, for instance, we've been so grateful to be able to work with some of the schools. And I had a school principal reach out to me recently, whose a loved one had passed, and she was very concerned about their spouse. And she said, I don't know what to do. And I said, here are some options for you. Here's where you can start. And again, I am not a clinician. I am not part of the healthcare continuum. I'm, as a foundation. But at the same time, I am all about the resources that are provided. And so any help that we can be to, from our perspective, we will certainly point people in the right direction.
Yeah, we really like it that if anyone isn't sure where to turn to,
start with us.
In Dufferin and beyond, we want people to think about us and then let us help you figure out what support we can offer, and if it's not us, we'll help connect you to the other supports as well.
The right person. Yeah, that's great. That's great. So as you grow your services and your community services, what challenges do you face in the community for growth?
Well, we talked about awareness, so I think that's one. Awareness we've already covered, so I think that's a piece. Because we're unique in our skills, and people don't often have to use our resources or only certain points of their time. And I think the funding, so, Nicole alluded to it, we have a really wonderful partnership between community and the government. So through the Ministry of Health, through Ontario Health, we have a large portion of our services are covered, but from a day-to-day perspective, we're probably fundraising 40 to 50% of our operational costs. And then from a capital perspective, we're raising 100%. So that's a pretty big lift, which is why the 1.8 million a year we need to raise is to support that. And so, that's probably one of the biggest challenges. We know we could do more. I'm really grateful. One challenge that certainly has been in healthcare is keeping people, getting people. We're pretty fortunate. We have a really strong team. I mentioned retention before. I think because people do know our name a little bit in the healthcare world, if they want to work in palliative care or support palliative care, we can get people. But it's about the dollars to make sure we can pay them. It's competitive. The costs keep rising. So that 1.8 number, continues to be stretched because costs are high, and we know right now things are challenging. So the same time we need more money, I know it's more challenging. So Nicole, I don't know if you want to speak about the fundraising
absolutely
side.
I think what I've been in fundraising areas where I've worked in a traditional healthcare hospital environment, and I think the difference between working in an environment like that and being in hospice is about that everyone can relate to sitting in an emergency room, or having to go to the doctor's office and wait, or holding on, oh my goodness, I've been waiting for that MRI appointment forever, whatever the case may be. So the idea of supporting that and being able to move that needle to make sure that our community has what they need, it seems like a pretty simple concept to get behind. When you're fundraising for hospice, first of all, people don't necessarily understand what it is. And until you are affected by loss or the idea of end of life, you don't really understand the need. And so it's not what we call in the fundraising world necessarily a sexy thing to fundraise for. And I'm going to say that very, very blatantly. Again, it's like if you're fundraising for the food bank, everyone can understand hunger, everyone can understand those things. Hospice is not necessarily the case. So I think the idea that we are available. We are this service that does not put any financial burden on the families, clients at all. We are there for that, for anyone who needs us. And so the idea of a business stepping up, their dollar really goes further in an organization like ours. Not that I would ever poo-poo any fundraising effort. It's what I do for a living, and it's what my colleagues do for a living. And so I appreciate every organization, especially, Dufferin, Caledon, our area. We have some very strong social service organizations, and everyone's cause is worth it. And in this case, I'll just say, if there is something that you're looking for, or you want to make a bigger impact in your community, you want to do something different, consider Bethell Hospice as a place to learn more about and maybe throw your support behind.
That's wonderful. Margaret, you talked a little bit about your team, and it got me thinking that it must take a really special person to work in palliative care. How does your team do it?
Yeah, no, it's absolutely. And I think it is a special place to work. It requires a certain skill. And I use that term, we are specialized. So just like other specialties within healthcare, palliative care is a specialty. The care we provide, not just clinically, but the other things about how do you emotionally support, what are some of the practical things that people need to consider when they are facing palliative care needs, is a real unique piece. So for our team, when they come to us because they've either worked in palliative care or they want to work for the first time, it's sometimes, even when you're in the right place and people are the right practitioners, it can be challenging. So we do work with the team to make sure that they are caring for themselves. We believe that as much as it's about the care we provide, caring for the person who provides that care is equally important. If you don't have a healthy, supported team, they are not going to be able to provide as the care that they need to. So we do spend a lot of time in that space, making sure we support them with their own self-care. But it's a wonderful place. And Nicole, here, anyone in hospice hears this, not just Bethel. We often hear when people hear, "Oh, you work in hospice care," they often cock their head and they get quiet.
How sad.
And they do that, right? And then we say, listen, it is a honor and a gift to be able to help people through these parts of their lives. But it is a joyful place. Absolutely. It is an important place. And we with the families, with the teams, do live every day to the maximum, right? We always say, like, and it sounds ridiculous because it sounds so simple, but it's true. Like, you live every day. You only die one day. You live every day. And so every day is worth living. And every day, even that day that you die, we want people to have good deaths. And so it's important for us to make sure that we have the right team. We support them so that they can do this care they want to do, which is hard care and sometimes can build and can get some cumulative effects, but we're aware of it. We want to support the right team to do this care because it is so special. Not that any part of the healthcare system doesn't impact people and isn't important, but it's particularly important. And we talk about the ripples and that when one of our team is having a hard day, they need to rely on their team member, their partner nurse, their PSW, the doctor, to make sure you're not bringing that down the hallway. It needs to get checked. It needs to, you are here for this. We're in a servitude industry, and that's something we work on every day. But it's a pretty awesome place to work. And again, we've been blessed the entire time, pre-pandemic, through the pandemic, post-pandemic. We have not faced some of the challenges from a recruitment retention that much of the system has. And I think it's because we work really hard as a team to make sure it's a great place to work. Because if it's a great place to work, it's a great place to get care.
That's amazing. You do such amazing work and touch the lives of so many. As you said, every client you serve directly, 9, I can see that, how so many other people are impacted. So thank you for all that you do, both of you, in the community to make this world a little bit better place, especially through difficult times. It's really appreciated. Nicole, is there any last minute thoughts on events or other fundraising things you have that you'd like to share?
I would just encourage business to take a look. Come check us out on our website. Please take a look at our social media, our Facebook, our Instagram, etc. We always have something going. We have, like I said, we have the hike coming up. We have our Golf for Bethell Hospice is actually being held at Osprey Valley this year, the home of the RBC Canadian Open. For any of those golfers who may want the opportunity to golf that course, it's pretty special. That's coming up in September. And of course, we always have our annual Light and Love event where we remember loved ones we've lost, and we encourage corporate participation. And that's a very special evening as well. So there's always something going on. And again, we would be more than happy to entertain an idea that that a business may have, or would like to get involved as a team and come out and volunteer and be a part of and get to know us better.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you both so very much for coming, sharing
Thank
this
you for having
wonderful
us.
conversation. Thank you for watching this episode. And if you want to learn more about Bethell, you can visit their website directly. We'll also have links up on our website, dufferinbot.ca. Don't forget to like and follow us on social media and our YouTube channel. And until next time, keep doing good business, because good business is good for everyone.